I have a newfound hatred for spies. Hello everyone, Tebrith here, and welcome to my 5th week of TF2. If you're new here, this series is a documentation on my journey to learning this old first-person shooter called Team Fortress 2. And for the past week, I've been playing heavy, specifically default heavy, with stock minigun, shotgun, and fists. And if you're a returning viewer, guess what? I was an actual responsible content creator and remembered to hit the record button this time. Yay me! Anyway, as you all saw in the opening, I have a newfound hatred for spies. Going from a month-long pyro session and then going into heavy, it's honestly a rather surreal experience going from being excited knowing there's a spy around, throwing flame everywhere and being a menace, to being paranoid of spies to the point where I probably spend more time spy checking as a heavy more often than I ever did as a pyro. Jokes aside, heavy's been pretty fun. Getting into position and mowing people down that aren't expecting you is always an awesome feeling. Also, having the highest health pool in the game is a neat bonus. Though, I will say, I used to think pyro ran slowly, but man, I take it all back. After playing heavy for a while and then going off to play some man vs machine as a pyro with friends for a small break, I felt like a scout with how fast I was going. Also, I should probably mention I swapped out the power jack for the 3rd degree on my pyro man vs machine loadout. I just found more use in it for deleting those pesky uber medics that group up on a giant robot than the power jack for moving faster. Moving on, I suppose now is the time I talk about the tactics I've developed over the week, and I gotta say, the minigun isn't quite as powerful as I thought it was going to be. Its effective range is only slightly longer than that of the Dragon's Fury Pyro, meaning being out in the open is practically a death sentence, leaving you to try to stick with enclosed spaces if you're not pushing an objective with your team, but when an unfortunate enemy does manage to get within your effective range, they're not going to last long with how quickly you delete their health bars. And another downside of the minigun is the slow windup. If you're not already prepared for the enemy, it's faster and more efficient to just switch to your shotgun. Not to mention, the noise the gun makes when you have it revved up is a dead giveaway to your opponents, meaning you're not really meant for ambushes. So, for the minigun, I tend to use it for major firefights and protecting important areas such as choke points and objectives. Then we have the shotgun. I tend to have it out if I'm not actively in a firefight. It's a deceptively strong weapon, more than capable of defeating overconfident enemies that are pushing your position just because you don't have the minigun out. Plus, it neither has that slow windup or loud revving that the minigun has to deal with, allowing you to have some ambush potential. And I know this may be strange for me to say, but I do believe I actually found myself using the shotgun more often than the minigun. Don't get me wrong, the minigun is without a doubt the more powerful weapon, but without the appropriate setup and positioning, you're gonna get sent back to spawn before you even get a single volley off. And then there's the fists. It's what you'd expect, the almost never used outside of laughs melee option in a first-person shooter. That being said, the taunt kill is pretty hilarious. Shame I can never really pull it off though. And that's about it. I want to thank everyone who's been going through this journey with me so far. Your support is very much appreciated. The overall positivity of everyone, not just you viewers and commenters, but the TF2 community as a whole has definitely made this series so much more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. Not only have I been pleasantly surprised by how fun this game is, but I've even made some new friends from people I've just randomly met in lobbies that I now meet up with again time from time via Discord to play with some more. Ultimately, This game has gone from initially being a mere curiosity and childhood regret to being an actual thing I look forward to in my evenings. And I'm so glad I started this series, and I want to thank you all again for bearing with my struggles to make these videos. It really does mean a lot. And with that, I hope you all have a wonderful remainder of your day.